Locals got to see the eclipse right here from Fayetteville. See what one local had to say about all the newcomers in town. Thanks, Phoebe. Current State Senator Clint Penzo, representing the 31st District of Arkansas, looks to replace Congressman Womack. Now, while Clint Penzo looks to take more of a conservative approach, Womack says he is focused on serving his constituents. That's right, I'm outside the sewing lab where students are gearing up for the annual fashion show, and one student is working to bring her designs to life. Now that we have Calipari, fans are wondering what's next. With only one recruit on the team, Calipari is forced to build a roster from the ground up. Take a look. The 3rd Congressional District is made up of Washington, Benton, Carroll, Crawford, Madison, and part of Sebastian County. Congressman Steve Womack joined the House of Representatives in 2011. With over a decade in the House, Womack says he knows his constituents well.
Because in politics anymore, when you're engaged in a discussion with a constituent or a group, it's very easy to just basically tell them what they want to hear. You know, I think my constituents want me to tell them what they need to hear.
While the challenger state senator Clint Penzo has served on the city and state level, he feels like he is ready to serve on a larger scale.
That's primarily why I'm doing it. He's been in there for a really long time. A lot of people want term limits, and we don't have term limits at the federal level. So this is kind of the citizens enacting term limits on a long-time congressman.
While both are looking to represent the same party, Penzo says they still have their differences.
I represent the people. Congressman Womack is known to be a representative of the large corporations in the country.
I think the country is more of a center-right country. I don't think it's way out there on the extreme, and I try to conduct my business in such a way that provides, you know, an incremental improvement in the country, and you're not going to do that if you just go to if you go to your corner and say I'm going to play my way or the highway.
The polls are set to close at 7:30 with results to follow. Reporting for UATV, I am Yael Evan. Rob Hodis taught tennis lessons at Mount Sequoia and strung tennis rackets for the men and women's Razorback tennis team. Alongside tennis, there was another side to Hodis. Many people had no idea Rob struggled with an addiction.
You know, when you think about Rob Hodis, you don't think about drugs. He goes, in fact, it's not even in the top 20 things.
The CDC reports that the rise in opioid deaths became significant over 3 periods. In the 90s, many deaths were linked to prescription opioids. In 2010, there was a high increase of opioid deaths entailing heroin, and 3 years later, many overdose deaths were linked to synthetic opioids such as fentanyl. Brittany Kelly helped found Northwest Arkansas Harm Reduction after she lost her brother to an overdose. The group provides those fighting an addiction with Narcan kits, fentanyl testing strips, and peer support.
We come from all different backgrounds. We've got people in long-term recovery, we've got peer support specialists, we've got social workers, we've got students on campus that intern for us, and just all kinds of amazing volunteers that have come together for a common purpose of just doing what we can to keep people alive.
Having an opioid kit on hand can help save someone's life. To help prevent an overdose, remember this acronym, ABC. A for administer naloxone, B for begin rescue breathing, and C, call 911. Grams of fentanyl is enough to take someone's life.
We had the luxury when we were younger to try drugs and wake up the next day. We don't have that luxury anymore.
As some traveled closer to the path of totality, some got to see it just minutes away from their home. Now, while the Botanical Gardens of the Ozark is normally closed on Mondays, it decided to open its doors for an eclipse watch party. Now, the total solar eclipse watch party took off at noon with its doors open until 3, free to the public. Alongside watching the eclipse, the Botanical Gardens had a number of activities such as hula hooping, chalk, and bubbles for children. Locals could begin to see the eclipse at about 12:30, with it reaching its peak 10 till 2. The eclipse lasted about until 3 o'clock. Now, one Fayetteville resident says he welcomes all the newcomers to Fayetteville.
He's glad to see people here in Arkansas, and we hope that you have a safe trip and enjoy the eclipse as much as everyone else does here.
Now, with the help of Experience Fayetteville, the Botanical Gardens handed out over 500 eclipse glasses and water bottles to all visitors, leading them to run out by the end of the event. Now, the next solar eclipse will be August 12, 2045. Reporting for UATV, I am Yael Evan. Now that we have Cal Perry, fans are wondering what's next. With only one recruit on the team, Cal Perry is forced to build a roster from the ground up. Take a look. On Monday, former Wildcat Zvonimir Ivsik commits to the Arkansas Razorbacks. On top of snagging some of his former players, John Calipari looks to bring on majority of his staff from Kentucky, including his son, Brad Calipari, who will focus on player development. With only Ivsik and walk-on Lawson Blake on the roster, Calipari says it won't hurt his recruiting record.
There's going to be enough kids that would want to play here for us that will be fine. I really believe that. And, you know, whether I was at UMass or Memphis or at Kentucky, kids want to play for us.
Recruiting began on Thursday, running through July. Calipari says he has the option to bring on transfers, but looks to other teams who scout the underdogs, such as Purdue and UConn, who just played each other in the semifinals. As Calipari looks to fill his roster, he says the NBA draft in June could slow him down.
Because there are kids that put their name in the NBA draft that are going to go through some of the process, which means, do you wait for that kid, or do you go take somebody that's not quite as good, and you're going to be juggling balls? That's what we do now. Chancellor
Charles Robinson helped welcome Calipari to Fayetteville and says he has faith in him bringing a new team together.
And he's, got a great track record of taking young men, working with them, and helping them to, become winners in lots of ways, on the court and off the court.
With a strong recruiting record, Calipari says he looks to bring the same momentum to Fayetteville. Reporting for UATV, I am Yael Evan.